Well, thank you for having us here. We're quite excited to be here, and we're quite excited to showcase our Sechelt project. It was a long road for us as well. We've been working on this project for about a year in behind the scenes, trying to track it and see how it all evolved, and it's exciting to see it built now. Just by introduction, I'm Andrew Ambrozy, Maple Reinders, Nash, with Urban Systems. There's a third partner here that couldn't be here today, and that's Veolia Water. They are the technology providers of the Organica system that we brought in from Europe. It's well known in Hungary and some plants in China. I think there's 30 or 40 plants that are built and operating today. So it's new to North America, but not new to the world. So Veolia brought that technology to us. Richard did a good job talking about design build, so I won't spend a lot of time on that. I just want to emphasize two really key points, is that the innovation happens up front. The contracting company and the designer get together. In this case, there's a technology provider as well. We get together and come up with the innovation up front. It doesn't take a long time. Once that process starts, it was only a 2 or 3 month process to get that innovation into the project. The other key component is, as a municipal owner or government owner, you know your budget up front. You don't have to wait. Within a month or two, you know what your costs are going to be, and they're fixed. It's a fixed price contract that we entered into. You also know your schedule, because to us, schedule is a big thing. If we don't complete on time, that costs us money, so we want to get that project done on time. The design build model has also been proven to be quicker, so if you have costs for consultants and other people on board as a municipal owner, you save those costs by us constructing your facility quicker. So it does cost a lot of money to put these proposals together, so we suggest municipal owners and government owners limit the playing field through a request for qualification process. Sechelt limited the playing field to 5. Our sort of thought process, you should limit it to about 3, because it does cost a lot of money, and you'll see when it does cost us a lot of money, but you'll see when I go through it, it could cost the municipality a lot of money if there's honorariums involved for preparing these proposals. You need to plan. That's going to be a common theme. You need to know what you want when you go to the design build route. You really have to have a high level of definition, and Sechelt went the performance-based route, and that worked really well for them, and that's what and then you get all the innovation as part of that. There's a lot of information here, and Paul's gone through a lot of it, but I just want to highlight a few of them. These are the key ingredients that you really need to plan for and put out in a request for proposal. Land is key. If you don't provide the land or some form of land, the project will fail, particularly wastewater treatment plants, composting sites. We've submitted RFPs where we were responsible for land. They didn't go anywhere. You can imagine the private sector trying to rezone a piece of property for a wastewater plant. It just doesn't happen. So key is land. Sechelt did a good job. They actually provided 3 sites. 2 were usable, and 1 was way too far out of reach in terms of vertical height. Influent and outfluent criteria is key. We need to know what's coming in, what you want to go out, and your flow rates. Again, the indirect potable water term is there again. Wastewater treatment is essentially separating the liquid from the solid. At the end of the day, you have a pile of solids you still have to deal with. You can't ignore it. So the water goes out a pipe or it gets reused, but the solids has to be dealt with. In this case, Sechelt elected to do composting. Again, odor and noise. 0 odor units outside the building. Noise 45 to 55 decibels. If you went outside on a highway on a busy day, you're probably hearing 55 to 60 decibels. So this is very stringent. LEED Gold we talked about. Schedule was tight, 2 years from the RFP. I'm going to get back to these in-confidence meetings, because that's when we're preparing a proposal, we get a chance to go before the owner and at least present our design and say, are we on the right track? Are we following the right process? And we get feedback, and those are held in confidence. And I'm going to get back to how important that was for the Sechelt case in a second. And the RFP allowed for 2 of those meetings. It's a $50,000 honorarium. So out of the 5 teams that submitted, 4 at the end of the day got paid $50,000 each for submitting their proposal. There's value in those, as Mayor Henderson alluded to. They had 5 very good proposals, so they felt they should pay for that. There's guidelines in the Design Build Institute. We like to say it's about 1% of the capital value, so it's not a big component, but you need to pay for that service. Design Build got a bad rap a number of years ago in that it was felt that designers and the builders just got together and put very cheap designs together, very inexpensive, and in the end result, equipment needed replacing regularly. So under the Sechelt case, we are tied to financial penalties if the operation and maintenance costs exceed 15% of what we plan for at the proposal stage. So we can't put in cheap equipment, we can't put in cheap piping. We're tied to the electrical demands that we said that was going to happen. So it's a full life cycle way of doing business. Value engineering, that gives the owner an opportunity to get involved with the design. And I can say we've had probably 2 formal sessions, and it's been an ongoing process. In fact, we're looking at adding solar panels to the project as we speak. And that's part of the value engineering we've been doing all the way along. So we looked at all this criteria, and from my experience, I've been in this business 25 years designing and building wastewater plants. We had never seen this before. This was over and above anything we've ever seen. And we thought, what are these guys thinking? They can't afford this. This has never been done before. So we put together a design, very mundane looking building, highly landscaped, you can't see it, fenced, and we presented it to the steering committee of the RFP. And Paul, maybe you can give your reaction. That's exactly how we felt. We were devastated. We spent a whole lot of time, thought this is the right solution, and we were getting back on the ferry, and I remember thinking, okay, these guys are serious. This is what they want. They want all this. We better change gears. So we did. We a full 180-degree shift. We came up with a different way of doing business. We saw these guys were serious. They wanted all this, so we listened. And I'll pass it over to Don at this point, who'll go through the detailed design.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, so actually, I thought the process that we went through was one of the best processes that I've ever been a part of. It was incredible. The only thing that I would change with the entire process is on the front of the RFP, they should have stamped in big, bold, red letters, "We're serious." Because it would have saved us some time and some money up front, because we really didn't believe they were serious. And that's quite remarkable, because what Sechelt has done is they've transformed the way people are viewing wastewater. It's a resource, and you know it's exciting for us, because we often find ourselves in a position when we're trying to lead and encourage innovation and encourage clients to get to change their view on water and wastewater and how that's all managed. So to come across an RFP where we finally got to do that was exciting. And I guarantee that all 5 teams were incredibly excited by that. They were challenged, and that's probably why you got 5 great proposals. So when you think about some of the key drivers of this, it was really about transforming how the industry viewed water and wastewater. So if you can capture that vision in a document, your vision for your community, and get that on paper, you'll get industry excited. You'll get them submitting some incredible proposals. So all these other key drivers to the proposal, you know, we really got that they wanted to minimize energy use in a way that was completely different than had ever been done before in BC. Integrating this facility into community, I mean, as we started to dig into the details of the RFP, we got that one of the keys to win this thing was about stripping down fence lines. It's about connecting the community with the facility and allowing people to move through it in a way that hadn't been done before. When we did all that, you know, things began to emerge. You had 3 sites, but things really began to show up. That the best site for the facility was truly at Appetizers site, where you had an opportunity to not only connect the community to the facility, but to restore and protect the environment in a way that would actually enhance the community and transform that facility that existed there into a place that was originally hidden and a place to be shied away from, to a place that people actually wanted to come and visit and experience in a way that hadn't been done before. Other things that we had to contend with as we went through this process is that we had to keep all the existing facilities operational. And that was a challenge for us, especially on Eptide, because the site is a fairly small site. And another thing that we really got was incredibly important for Sechelt is they wanted to generate local opportunities for business. And so that was something that was really key to our proposal process and something that we wanted to make sure that we highlighted. So as we went through, with those key drivers in mind, Eptide emerged as the appropriate site. All pipes lead to Eptide, and if you're going to Lot L or if you're going to Dusty Road, you're pumping at a huge energy expense over the lifespan of the facility. So there's a bit more capital cost to deal with odor and noise at Eptide, but at the same time, we were going to save significant O&M costs over the long term, and we knew that that balance would be a recipe for a win in this particular case. The LEED Gold criteria also helped drive us to Eptide. There's a number of site selection criteria in LEED that is all around having facilities like this in your community, because that's where the waste and subsequently the resource is. If it's at the end of the pipe, then you've often lost the opportunity to reclaim water in some cases. The treatment process selection, so once we landed on Eptide, we basically recognized that we had to go with a very compact footprint, and that's where we found the Organica technology, and that technology actually allowed us to integrate the facility further into the community because it's a very aesthetically pleasing treatment process. And then the other pieces, as a result of that, the tertiary treatment was filters and disinfection. We also incorporated energy recovery, so we have a very innovative energy recovery system that heats the entire building. And the odor and noise, that stuff, once you've figured out all these other big pieces, is really just technical details that we work through and we make sure that we meet. I know we're running out of time here, so quickly go through this. This is basically a typical bioreactor with plants hanging in the wastewater. So in a bioreactor, you add air, and then the microbes digest the waste in the water. As the microbes digest the waste, they're typically floating around in this wastewater. The advantage to this technology is that you actually have roots that hang down into the wastewater, and in addition to the biomass that's floating in the wastewater, you get a fixed film. Different organisms that actually attach to the root systems, and they can actually further help digest that wastewater, and in so doing, you actually shrink the footprint of the facility. This is one technology that does that. There are many others. So again, there's many ways to address. Each community is different, each situation is unique, and having multiple proposals where you have that different innovations from different teams is a great way of looking at all those. So in quick summary here, one of the key features of our proposal was all about creating this unique garden identity for the facility, something where the community could come and celebrate, fence-free, and really transforming a wastewater plant into a public park. This is another great example of a facility that exists in China, and you can see it's integrated into a park. It looks fantastic. Children, again, school kids coming to learn about the technology and learning about, and again, I think that's extremely important, regardless of whether you create an invisible facility like, say, at Dockside Green, or a facility like this, connecting people back to infrastructure so they know that there's a cost there. Water is not free. There's a cost of the pumps and the pipes and the treatment that go along with that, and connecting community members back to that is incredibly important. This is in progress construction, and that's the greenhouse nearing completion. It's further along now. And again, this is a current, a recent current view of construction where you can see the greenhouse and then the piece over on the right there is the filtration and the UV technology and the administration in the back. So, quickly, Andrew?
Yeah, just quickly, some key takeaways. We're not here to sell you a greenhouse or sell the Organica name. That may not work for Colwood. Would it work for you? Yes, it probably would, but there's other technologies that may be better. So we're here to sell a process, and I think that's been the common theme, is that you got to do your planning. Is there a solution that works for you in this model? Yes, there is. But some of the key other ones, it's a great model for driving innovation. It's the performance criteria is key. I mean, that really promotes the innovation at the end of the day. And you have to really guide your teams through the process. So those in-confidence meetings are very important to us. So I think that's it. Thank you.